Good day, everybody. This is John Scarborough. Today, guys, I would like to get into a little bit of a topic of how to address weeds as a regenerative rancher. And I want to get into how you can do that and what you can do, how you can turn a pasture that looks like this into a pasture that looks like this here behind me. You can tell this is pretty close to being recovered here, okay? But there's far less weeds in this pasture, okay, and a lot better grass growth, all right? So how can we take care of this as a regenerative rancher or an organic farmer? You know, how do we deal with this weed problem, especially when we're dealing with herbivores and things like that? Okay, so there's multiple different ways that you can do that. But before I get into that, guys, I would really like to ask for anybody that has not subscribed yet, I would truly appreciate it if you would hit that like button and hit the red subscribe button, guys. Please subscribe to my channel. It helps so much. And for anybody that does watch my channel and watch my videos, I would truly appreciate it if you would watch to the end. That really does help the algorithm, and it helps my channel growth, it helps our farm, and it just really helps so much, and I truly, truly appreciate it. All right, back to the video, guys. So as regenerative farmers or ranchers, and as organic producers, anybody that produces anything organic, okay, it can be a problem because we try not to use sprays. We try to refrain from that. We try to keep from those types of things, and we try to lean more towards other options. The problem is with the drought that we've got right now, it can be really difficult because these plants right here, all of these weeds are slowly sucking up nutrients. The main thing is right now they're sucking up water, okay? They're pulling up the water, but then they're also casting shadow over top, so they're making it harder for sunlight to get down to those grasses. And even as perennial grasses, that can be really hard on those grasses. It can be really difficult because it can start to, that's how they absorb energy. And even into their following year, like if you get a place that is truly suppressed with weeds, their following year can even be hard for that grass to come back because they get less and less sunlight, so that's less and less stored energy in the root, okay? So how do you address the problem? Well, there's multiple different things you can do, and one of the best things I think a person can do is by introducing sheep or goats to their herd, okay? But what I did in this other pasture over here, all we did here is just brush hog it, okay? But it's more than just brush hogging, okay? Now, brush hogging does cost money. That's the problem, is it costs diesel, and with the rising cost of diesel and all of these issues that we're having with that, it can be really hard to justify that. And a lot of people tell me, well, it's way cheaper to just spray than it is to brush hog. Well, that may be true in some cases, okay? But I'm going to give you a little bit of context here. This pasture right here has not been fertilized in about 6 years. Well, maybe a little bit. Yeah, that's about right. About 5 to 6 years it has not been fertilized. Okay, I don't use fertilizers. Now, could I get thicker grass than this if I did? Yeah, I think I could. Okay, this is about, I don't know, this is probably about 45 days recovery. And I think that's pretty good considering no fertilizer and considering the fact that we have, we are in the middle of a drought, and I think we've gotten one rain in that whole 45 days, maybe twice, maybe 2 times that we got rain, okay? The big difference for my pasture is that I collected every bit of it. I got every ounce of rain because I've got organic matter on the ground that collects it. And also, over time, I've been building topsoil and building things. We've got clay soils here, guys. We've got bad clay soils. And I've got several videos talking about how to improve clay soils and make your ground grow better grasses with clay soils. How to get your property to become more productive even when you have clay soil. So go in there, check out some of those other videos on that after you get done with this one, okay? But even without all of the fertilizers, we've still been able to grow this. And so my question to you is, if you think that sprays are cheaper than brush hogging, consider this. Is it cheaper to spray and fertilize than it is to run a brush hog over your property once, okay? We're talking about one time. Now, obviously, when you got a really bad pasture, brush hogging more than once, even brush hogging after every pass can be beneficial. Is it worth it? Nah, it can be hard to say for sure, okay? But even just once a year can dramatically increase the productiveness of your pasture, okay? But it's also about timing, okay? You want to be real careful not to brush hog too early, but at the same time you don't want to brush hog too late. And that's something I've been tweaking with a lot here in my area. For me, I brush hogged this right about, I don't know, it was probably about the middle of May, you know? And that has worked out really good, as you can see here. But I've also brush hogged, in the past, I've brush hogged pastures probably August, okay? Which isn't too late when you're talking about stockpiling. It's not necessarily too late in our part of the country. Now, in some parts it can be, but in our part it's not really too late. We're still growing good there. But I have found that I didn't get as good results on the weeds as I could have by brush hogging in August, okay? But I want to show you right here down in the weeds, or down in the grass here. You see this? That is actually goat weed that's being suppressed by grass. Now that's opposite of what you typically see. Typically you see the goat weeds rising above the grass, okay? So by brush hogging in this sweet spot, this area where all of the ryegrass was gone, okay? Well, not gone, it was either dead or grazed, okay? And then we had just gone through and grazed, and then we brush hogged. By doing that, and I'll say one more thing, we also did not brush hog clean to the ground. We made sure that we kept as much leaf as physically possible on our grass plant. Okay, this is about ready to be grazed. You see how it's got a tip like that? When that tip looks like that, that's when you know you're about to the point where you're ready to be grazed. Once it gets, let me see if I can get one. Get it right. Yeah. Once you get one that looks like that I just broke off, that is when you know that if your grasses still look like that, you don't really want to come back and graze that again. You want to let that to continue to recover. But by doing by brush hogging at just the right period of time, you can dramatically change the way the speed at which the grass is growing versus the speed at which the weeds are coming in. So like this weed right here, this goat weed here, this is a really bad problem here, okay? We didn't used to have it. I didn't used to see a lot of it, but for some reason the last couple of years, we've been having a big problem with this weed right here. I was able to clip it just at the right time before these started becoming very prolific, but yet allowing my grass to have just the right stage. So you can see the results. It's hard to explain exactly what the best thing is, because honestly, I'm still experimenting myself with a lot of this, okay? But you can see the results. The results speak for themselves. When I look at this pasture versus when I look at that pasture right there, there's just a huge difference in what you're seeing. Now we can still see good grasses here, okay? There's still good grass there. This pasture was grazed last August, okay? That's what I was telling you about. And when we grazed it brush hogged last August. When we brush hogged it last August, we did a lot for it. We took a lot down, but the weeds were so strong at that point. They had gotten so much sunlight. They were so strong that they came right back and they exploded right back. Whereas when you brush hog at a nice time, at a really good time, where the grass is still prolific, but yet the weeds have not had a chance to become prolific, that can make a massive, massive difference. Now, am I saying that's going to work in every scenario? No, I'm not. And I will say this as well. The whole thing with being able to graze without fertilizers, that is a gradual increase, okay? That takes time, and that's something that we're still moving towards, especially if you have clay soils. I mean, look at this old ant mound right here. That's nothing but clay, guys, okay? So especially if you have clay soils and you don't have great soil, then it can take time, and it's a gradual thing that just kind of keeps moving forward, and it gets better and better. But I promise you it will get better. And if you're wanting to learn more about that kind of stuff, subscribe to my channel. Like I said, check out my channel. Look at all the different videos I've got. I'll have new videos coming out, all sorts of stuff that can help out a lot with that kind of thing. All right, guys, well, I'm going to wrap this video up. As always, like I say, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I would really appreciate it if you would share it as well.